He hacked at the 2-0, now the 2-1. Line drive and a base hit! Just as the score...
With the tying run in, most assumed that the runner on second, Sid Bream, hobbled by 5 knee operations, would be held at third. But the third base coach sent Bream anyway.
Bream to the plate! And he is safe! Safe at the plate! The Braves go to the World Series!
For the next decade and a half, Atlanta would dominate the National League, returning again and again to the postseason. The once promising Pirates would go in the opposite direction, often finishing at the bottom of the standings. And their supremely talented left fielder, who had almost thrown Bream out, would never again play for Pittsburgh. During the off-season, he would sign the most expensive free agent contract the game had yet seen. Was called up to the majors. He was only 21 years old, but expectations could not have been greater. On the base paths and in the outfield, Bonds was exceptionally fast and quickly established himself as one of the greatest defensive players in the game. One day, a teammate said, he will put up numbers no one can believe.
Bonds had speed, he had power, he had defensive ability, he had base running intelligence. He knew the game backwards and forwards. He had a great flair for the dramatic.
Still, in 7 brilliant seasons, he had become one of the premier players in the game, twice stealing 30 bases and hitting 30 home runs in a single season, just as his father had, winning 3 Gold Gloves and another MVP. One thing was clear. Wherever he chose to play, he was sure to bring his outsized talent and his outsized baggage with him.
Wow. Well hit ball. Back she goes. Going, goodbye, baseball. Ken Griffey Jr.
In Seattle, another astonishingly talented son of a major leaguer, Ken Griffey Jr., was thrilling fans with one of the most beautiful swings in all of baseball history, and the joyous abandon with which he played the game. Unlike Barry Bonds, Griffey was loved as well as admired, and in just 5 years in the majors, had come to represent the very best the game had to offer.
Griffey dives. What a catch by Griffey.
Center coming on is Griffey, and he can't get to it. We'll never stop. Here's the throw to third.
We thought that he was going to shine as the greatest player of his era.
Here's the division championship. No others win it. No others win it.
Ball into deep left center field. Griffey going back to the 1-8 track. Leaps high in the air. And he's got it.
Here's what I want y'all to do for me.
In 1988, Jose Canseco astounded the baseball world when he became the first player to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in a single season. He told the press that intensive weight training was the reason for his success. But something else was helping him achieve such an unprecedented combination of speed and power. Bonds did exactly what Peter McGowan was paying him to do. He batted .336 and led the league with 46 home runs and 123 RBIs, all career highs. He was named MVP for the 3rd time. He was making baseball fun again in San Francisco. In San Francisco, Barry Bonds' teammate Matt Williams was hitting home runs at a furious pace, possibly on track to break Roger Maris's single-season record of 61. In San Diego, Tony Gwynn, the Padres' superb right fielder, had been hitting so consistently that he had been able to keep his batting average above .390. By August, it seemed he might do what no one had done since Ted Williams in 1941, hit .400 for the season.
The ball goes past Rick. Griffey, yes, he does. Fires to first. Got it to first. Shot to Cal Ripken. He's up with it. Fires across. He got him. What a play by Cal.
Cal Ripken Jr. never wanted to do anything but play in the major leagues.
Magnificent at charging the ball. Excellent going in the hole. Excellent behind second base because when he picked up a ground ball, he could do the 360 and throw to first with real strength.
Popped him up.
After 4.5 innings of play, the game was official. Cal Ripken had played in 2,131 consecutive games. It would be 3 more years before he finally took a day off. By then, Cal Ripken had played in 2,632 straight games. Baseball had learned its lesson. From now on, it would honor its players and celebrate its most defining moments. Greg Maddux had learned the game on the ball fields of the many Air Force bases where his father was stationed. Maddux succeeded spectacularly by relying on pinpoint control of 5 different pitches and an uncanny ability to detect each hitter's weakness. In 1995, Maddux led the league in wins, ERA, and innings pitched, winning his 4th consecutive Cy Young Award, something no pitcher had ever done before. John Smoltz, a hard-throwing right-hander from Lansing, Michigan, had helped pitch his team to a pennant in 1992, leading the league in strikeouts and winning 3 games in the postseason.
And that's all for the Phillies pitcher.
Tom Glavine from Billerica, Massachusetts, had excelled as a pitcher and hockey player in high school and was drafted by both the Braves and the Los Angeles Kings of the NHL. Glavine pitched away from batters all night, continually locating his fastballs and changeups along the outside edges of the plate. He allowed just 1 hit in 8 innings.
1-1 pitch.
David Justice's solo home run in the 6th was all the scoring the Braves would need.
To the track. She's gone. Left center field. Grissom on the run. The team of the 90s has its world championship.
Torrey's opening day lineup in 1996 included Bernie Williams, a shy switch-hitting center fielder from Puerto Rico, who scouts hoped would anchor the Yankee batting order for years to come. In right field was the gritty, tightly wound veteran Paul O'Neill. Tino Martinez, a power-hitting lefty from Florida, had replaced longtime first baseman Don Mattingly. In the bullpen was a promising young reliever from Panama, Mariano Rivera. John Wetland, acquired from the fading Expos, was the closer. And at shortstop was a supremely poised rookie from Kalamazoo, Michigan, who had dreamed of playing for the Yankees since the 3rd grade, Derek Jeter.
Holy cow! His first big league home run.
A lot of people had their doubts. Nothing bothered him.
Under Torrey, the Yankees played a National League brand of baseball, stealing bases, moving up runners, scuffling for runs, and everybody contributed. The Yankees took control of the American League East within a month of opening day and never surrendered it.
I know people say, well, if you have good chemistry, you have a chance to win.
In the playoffs, the Yankees dispatched the Texas Rangers and then beat Baltimore to win the pennant.
And the Yankees win the pennant.
After 34 years and 4,268 games in professional baseball, Joe Torre was finally going to the World Series. In the first game at Yankee Stadium, the heavily favored Braves pummeled New York 12-1, the worst World Series defeat in Yankee history. Just as Torrey predicted, Greg Maddux and the Braves easily beat the Yankees in Game 2. New York needed to win 2 out of the next 3 games in Atlanta just to stay alive. Cone quieted the Atlanta bats through 5 innings. But in the bottom of the 6th, Cone loaded the bases.
Popped him up. Off the hands for Jeter. 2 out. Loaded 2 out. To the right side, it's foul. Girardi is there. Inning over. Down the line and right. Goodbye.
The Yankees scored 3 more runs in the 8th inning, and John Wetland closed out the Braves in the 9th.
Soho. Game 3 belongs to New York.
In Game 4, the Braves took a huge early lead. In the top of the 6th inning, the Yankees began to fight back.
Leadoff base hit. Now a walk, so a hit and a walk. Into right field. Base hit. It gets past Don. Here comes Jeter. He'll score. Headed to third is Bernie Williams. They bring him around, and it's a 4-run game.
In the top of the 8th inning, with the Yankees still down 3 runs, reserve catcher Jim Leyritz came to bat with 2 men on. He faced reliever Mark Wohlers, whose fastball had once been clocked at 103 miles per hour.
The 2-2 to Leyritz. In the air to left field. Back at the track, at the wall. We are tied. A big inning for the Yankees. Jeter will try to start it. 6-4-3. We're going to extra innings here in Game 4.
With 2 outs in the top of the 10th, the Yankees loaded the bases. Torrey had only 1 position player left on his bench, but it was Wade Boggs, one of the most disciplined hitters in the game.
Boggs with a great eye at the plate. He's going to make Avery throw that ball over the strike zone.
3-2 pitch. The Yankees take the lead.
Boggs' walk brought in the go-ahead run. In the bottom of the 10th, Yankee pitcher John Wetland kept Atlanta from scoring.
Jones will walk down to second. Pendleton shoots it to deep left. Range is there, falling as he catches
At 4 hours, 17 minutes, it was the longest game in World Series history.
And just as Charlie Hayes is about to catch the ball, I just see Jeter's arms go up in the air.
The pitch to him, and he chops it towards short. Pascal, bare hand grab. The throw. It's in time. Plantier. Oh, what a play by Galarraga. And a double play. In the hole, Ordonez with a long throw. What a circle.
A drive deep right field. Bautista, look out, goodbye.
And he hits a ground ball on the right side.
As Hispanic players became increasingly prominent, the media began to highlight their inspiring rise from poverty.
Very, very deep, and kiss it goodbye. A home run. This could be it. It is.
Bang. Did he know it? Absolutely.
Listen.
Home runs had spiked before, but this was quantitatively and qualitatively different. And many started asking whether smaller parks alone could account for the dramatic change in the game.
The ballparks are smaller. The strike zones are smaller. You can't pitch inside. You can't knock a hitter down anymore without getting into a brawl. Everything helps the hitter.
In 1992, Major League players had hit a total of 3,038 home runs. Just 4 years later, they hit 4,962. Fans loved it. In 1987, his first full season with the Oakland Athletics, McGwire had belted 49 home runs, breaking the rookie record by 11.
Well, there's number 36.
In 1995, he hit 39 home runs in only 104 games. In 1996, he smashed 52 in 130 games, better than 1 in every 9 at-bats. It was then that sports writers and fans began to wonder if McGwire might be the one to eclipse Roger Maris, if he could manage to stay healthy for an entire season. Ken Griffey kept pace, and by the end of April, they were tied at 11.
Number 300 for Ken Griffey Jr.
Then McGwire took off.
2-0.
A home run on May 12th traveled 527 feet. Another on May 16th went 545. On May 19th, he hit 3. And on May 23rd, he hit 2 more. McGwire finished May with 27 home runs. He was a full month ahead of Maris's 1961 pace. Ken Griffey Jr. struggled to keep up. Then, from out of nowhere, another slugger joined the chase. It all came together in June. He hit home runs on June 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, each one punctuated by an exuberant sideways skipping home run trot. On the 15th, he hit 3. On the 19th, he hit 2. On the 25th, he smashed his 19th home run of the month, breaking a 50-year-old record. By June 30th, he had 33, only 4 fewer than Mark McGwire. In Chicago, one Sosa blast sailed out of Wrigley Field and struck a front porch across the street. On August 10th, Sosa smashed his 46th of the season, and for the first time since opening day, the two sluggers were tied.
That ball is gone if it's fair. It is a home run. Number 61. He has tied Maris.
The next night, McGwire came to the plate with 2 outs in the 4th inning.
Down the left field line. Is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! Touch first, Mark. You are the new single-season home run king.
Roger Maris had needed all 162 games of the 1961 season to break Babe Ruth's record. It took McGwire only 145. Sammy Sosa passed Roger Maris on September 13th, and the two sluggers entered the final weekend of the season tied at 65. On Friday night in St. Louis, McGwire hit a 375-foot shot. In Houston, Sosa blasted one that went 462 feet. On Saturday, McGwire slugged 2 more. Sosa singled twice, leading the Cubs to a win, but he failed to hit another home run. On the final day of the season, McGwire put the finishing touches on his historic year. In the 3rd inning, he hit his 69th home run. In the 7th, he came to the plate for the last time.
1st and 3rd, 2 out. Into left field! Number 70!
But one player remained decidedly unimpressed. As far as he was concerned, far too much attention had been lavished on 2 pumped-up sluggers with far less talent than he had. He had never aspired to break Roger Maris's record. Instead, he had dreamed of becoming the greatest all-around player and had set his sights on being the first to hit 400 home runs and steal 400 bases. On August 23, 1998, As the frenzy over the home run contest was nearing its climax, Barry Bonds had achieved that extraordinary feat. But news of his accomplishment was relegated to the back of the sports pages. Frustrated that home runs were the only thing that mattered, he now resolved to do whatever it took to win the respect he thought he deserved.